Let's be honest, Minecraft's oceans are huge, but incredibly boring. I mean, there's not really much to do in them, but in this video, I'm going to show you mods that completely changes Minecraft's oceans, adding new mobs, ships, dangerous encounters, mysterious structures, and a whole lot more. So raise the sails, matey! And let's dive right in. Stream Reflowing adds incredibly beautiful branching rivers and waterfalls throughout the world, making the terrain feel much more natural, while also giving boats and ships much more room to maneuver. I didn't put this mod pack first on the list for no reason. In fact, I'd recommend starting with it when building pretty much any ocean-based mod pack, especially if you're adding ships. Just like in real life, you actually have to pay attention to the flow of the water. If you don't, the current can easily push your boat off the course or help you sail faster, creating a water park from time to time. And since these streams can appear all over the world, they add a lot of atmosphere to your adventures when exploring the boundless seas. Fish and ships. Why am I hungry all of a sudden? Adds more rideable boats and ships to the game, along with the sail system for each of them. The simplest thing you can craft is a raft. You can only move it with the water currents, or use it to transport supplies by attaching it to your main boat. But then, you can craft more advanced boats with sails. These let you carry a huge amount of items, and you can even attach multiple rafts using leads to transport even more stuff while freely sailing around. Just make sure your rafts don't come loose. Hey, my rafts! And that's still not enough. You can craft a much more advanced ship. This one runs on coal and comes with some pretty useful upgrades. You can add a fishing net to catch fish, or an icebreaker, which lets you push your way through the frozen biomes. So whether you need a simple raft for transporting supplies, or a fully equipped ship for long voyages, this mod has you covered. Do you know what else have you covered? Godlike host lets you save up to 75% on game hosting for Minecraft, Terraria, and more. So if you're looking to start a server with your friends, just hit the link in the description and grab your 75% off. Back to the video. Fishing Reel, a small mod that makes fishing a lot more, well, real. Instead of simply getting a fish item, you'll actually pull the fish itself out of the water. It's a pretty simple change, but it makes fishing feel much more alive and gives you a reason to actually pay attention to what you catch. And speaking of fishing, Fish of Thieves takes things a step further by bringing a whole variety of fish from Sea of Thieves into Minecraft. You can find different species in different areas, and the mod also adds things like fish shoals, bait, new fishing mechanics, and even rare treasure fish to hunt down. So there's actually a lot to discover. Animal Garden, and especially we have bull shark, narwhal, and harp seal. Now, as you may have noticed, this isn't actually one, but 3 separate mods that work really well together. They add a few more creatures to your oceans, giving them more life, a bit of danger, and even more reasons to explore. The bull shark, for example, won't attack you unless you bother them first. Seriously, don't get close to them. Narwhals, on the other hand, can be found in icy biomes, and harp seals, just look how cute they are. Oh, and yes, they will hunt fish around you. And when you put all 3 together, your oceans simply feel less empty. There is one more mod that absolutely deserves the spot. With Ben's shark, you can take this even further, as it adds a whole bunch different shark species to your oceans. These sharks bring some extra danger to the water, but and also give you some more food options and even some new armor. And yes, you can apparently make noodles with some of the new fish dishes. And unexpectedly, landmines! Obviously, you don't want to step on one yourself, but they can make a pretty fun trap for your enemies or your friends, who probably won't find it quite as funny. Either way, all of those mods complement each other really well. Adding more wildlife to the oceans makes them feel much more alive and dangerous. Illager Warship. There are several different mods from the same author, each adding its own type of ship to the game. Villager warships, trading ships, statues, and much more. Some of them are purely decoration, while others are meant to make your oceans feel a lot more alive. Shippy Ships adds fully functional ships that you actually have to build using resources. And unlike previous mods, some of those ships can get surprisingly expensive to craft. In some cases, the recipe looks like it costs more than the entire building you're putting on the ship. You can also also repair damaged ships by placing them back on the builder, and the developer is planning to add cannons in the future, which would be a pretty fun addition and possibility to combat your friends. The ships are also quite maneuverable, and if you don't want your vessel to look like a giant floating house made entirely out of blocks, this mod might be much more visually appealing and atmospheric for you. And finally, Unnamed Seas adds various structures to your ocean, including islands, lighthouses, and small ships with different loot that you can encounter during your travels. It's a pretty simple addition, which gives you something to actually look for while sailing, instead of just staring at the endless blue ocean. And that's exactly what I like about it. You never quite know what you're going to find on your next trip across the sea. Let's be real, when you're sailing across the oceans in Minecraft, even with sharks and guardians, there's barely anything to worry about. It's too calm. Weathers and tornadoes change that. Besides already being a huge name in the Minecraft community since the good old days of older versions, this mod is still actively updated and fits perfectly as an extra layer of danger to your sea adventures. Usually, you don't really expect a storm, and definitely not a tornado, suddenly showing up in the middle of the ocean, but here, you can encounter everything from regular tornadoes packed with lightnings to devastating fire tornadoes, capable of burning entire ships to the ground or to the water, leaving absolutely nothing behind. And if you're not careful enough, you might even get caught in one yourself. Of course, there are lightning rods and storm sirens to help you deal with all of this, but they're completely optional, so you can just let the chaos happen and enjoy the atmosphere. Who needs those anyway, right? There are versions available for NeoForge as well as the remastered one for Fabric. And if you thought the ships from the previous mod were impressive, just wait until you see this one. When Dungeon Arise adds huge hostile ships that can spawn across the ocean, packed with enemies, custom interiors, and plenty of loot to discover. These aren't ships that you can sail past, you can actually board them, fight your way through the crew, and see what treasures they are holding below the captain's room. And some of those vessels can get massive, making them feel more like floating dungeons than ordinary ships. So if you're looking for something that can turn a peaceful boat trip into an actual adventure, this is definitely one to check out. Treasures of the Dead takes the pirate theme even further. Yarr! All across the world, you'll find challenges, events, and even dungeons inspired by Sea of Thieves, each hiding loot of different rarities, or booty as the pirate call it. For example, you can find traders along the coast who sells maps leading to different enemy encounters and buried treasure, but you don't necessarily have to buy those maps. Sometimes you can simply come across dead pirates while exploring the beaches and suddenly find yourself in a fight, and you'll definitely want to be prepared for those fights. You can use throwable bombs, which are pretty cheap to craft, so I'd recommend making a few more than you think you'll need. You can also get pirate armor, which can actually be surprisingly powerful. Some pieces can compete with iron or even diamond gear, and also look much cooler. Defeating a pirate captain can reward you with some pretty cool pirate loot, as well as these skulls, which you can trade with a merchant for emeralds or simply keep as trophies. The harder the enemy, the rarer the skull, and the more it's worth. But if you really want to test yourself, then head for the pirate fortress. These massive structures can be spawned in regular oceans. They're packed with waves of enemies and treasure. It's definitely not an easy place to conquer, so bringing some friends and plenty of bombs can be a great idea. Deep inside, you'll find the mysterious Heart of Fortress, which can be unlocked with a special key and potentially reward you with a huge amount of treasure. Who said treasure? Overall, this is a really fresh and surprisingly deep pirate mod, and so far, one of my favorite pirate mods for this version of Minecraft. And that's it for today's collection. Hope you found at least a few mods that you like to try. With all of those mods combined, Minecraft's oceans go from an empty pool of water to a place filled with wildlife, ships, dangers, and unforgettable adventures. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell button so you don't miss the next collection. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!